Hi, my name is Melody Hardwick, and I'm a part of the Alcoa City Schools ESL team. I teach at the middle school. I thought it would be helpful just to take a closer look at the ELP standards. They are new for most of you. This is our second year with ELPA 21, and this is just a little bit deeper dive into those standards. So just as a reminder, ELPA 21 and the standards focus on the four language domains, which are listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So with these standards, they are very clear and concise. Um, they're organized in a way that students can participate in content areas and content area classes. 1 through 7 focus on language that they need for those content area classes, and 8 through 10 focus on the linguistic features, like at a micro level, and they should always be used in conjunction with 1 through 7. The ELP standards are interrelated to one another, and they can be used separately or in combination with other standards. The ELD standards do not include curricular or instructional statements. So this is a graphic for the actual standards. As I said before, 1 through 7 involve language necessary for content area classes. So when you, as a classroom teacher, are attempting to connect these to your standards, look for the ones that apply to what you're doing. Like number 1 says construct meaning from oral presentations and literary and informational text through grade appropriate listening, reading, and viewing. So this can be used in every content area class. Students are constantly listening to you and to other students when they're presenting information. And this is just making sure that they're connecting and constructing meaning from the vocabulary from your content area classes that is grade appropriate. Okay. And then, like I said before, 8, 9, and 10 are kind of linguistic features that are micro level, and they are connected to 1 through 7. So if you look at 9, it says create clear and coherent grade appropriate speech and text. That could be used with standard 1. So after they listen or read, then they can connect that to responding through speech or by writing. Language modalities. So 1 and 8, those standards are receptive. That means they're receiving the language by listening or reading. Standards 3, 4, and 7 are productive. That means that they are having to produce something with language, like speaking or writing. And then interactive standards are 2, 5, and 6. This is two-way. They're receiving language and they're producing it. Now, if you have a newcomer, interactive language is going to be difficult for them. Receptive language is usually what we see increases or develops first because they're listening all day long. They listen to you as you lecture or in front of the class. They listen to their peers as they're talking, and a lot of times they're not producing a lot of language at this stage, and so they're more than likely are able to complete standards 1 and 8 because receptive language is the first thing to develop. Productive language starts to develop even with newcomers, but it might be limited. ELD standards work with Tennessee state standards. So this is grade 5, standard 4, and it's connected, if you look at the graphic, it's connected to the ELP standard 4, 5, and 6. So this is just a a snapshot of what students should be able to do at each level. If you look at their score report for ELPA 21, that gives you an idea of how the standards are connected and what they should be able to do at that level. For ELA, I chose a standard from 8th grade. It says when writing and speaking, adjust style and tone to a variety of context. When reading or listening, analyze stylistic choices to determine context. And I connected it to ELP Standard 7, which is to adapt language choices to purpose, task, and audience when speaking and writing. So you can see that those are very closely connected. For math, I chose a 7th grade standard. It says describe situations in which opposite quantities combine to make 0. Okay, and then I chose ELP Standard 3, which says to speak and write about grade appropriate complex literary and informational text and topics. Now you might say this isn't a literary text in math. Well, it could be a word problem, could give you information, and they have to take that information and respond through speaking or writing about that question or that standard. For science, I chose a 6th grade standard, and this is on for energy. It says construct a scientific explanation of the transformations between potential and kinetic energy. I connected that to standard 9, and this could also be standard 1 for ELP standard. Create clear and coherent grade appropriate speech and text. They have to take a concept, the scientific explanation, they have to hear it, and then they have to produce language related to that content. For social studies, I chose 8th grade, and this standard says locate and identify the 13 colonies and describe how their location and geographic features influenced regional economic development. ELP Standard 5 states to conduct research and evaluate and communicate findings to answer questions or solve problems. So, students may have to research and look up a map of the 13 colonies in order to learn how to describe the location, the features, economic development. Then they have to research and then produce some type of speech or writing about that. So, that may have been a little much, but I just wanted to give you a little bit closer look at the standards and how you can actually connect them in your classroom. So from here, look at those 10 standards, see how you can incorporate them into your lessons and standards, and then think about how that can really help your English learners. The goal here is not to say you have to do this, this is a requirement, da 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 da. The point is to help students to be successful, to help them grasp this language that can help them be successful in the next year and the next year when they cover this type of material and this type of language in their school career. Plan for success. Don't just go willy-nilly like, well, I hope they get it. No, good planning ensures that we have a plan in place to be able to teach them well and to help them be successful. Again, thank you so much for all that you do. And if you have any questions, please let me know.